Tank and Jake. They've been going at it for years, and it would have happened sooner. You know what I'm saying? But we have hiccups in life. That's what I call it, hiccups. But they lessons to learn.
The boxing world has just been shaken by breaking news. Calvin Ford, Gervonta Tank, Davis's longtime coach and mentor, has officially ended his contract with him following the shocking cancellation of the Jake Paul fight. Fans are stunned, insiders are whispering, and social media is exploding with theories about what really went down between Tank and his legendary trainer. Let's break down everything that's happening, from the sudden fight cancellation to the shocking split between Tank Davis and Calvin Ford, and what this could mean for the future of Tank's.
What's going on with Tank, and are we going to see, and when are we going to see him back?
They got a little legal issue. As soon as they get through the courts, they'll set a date, and all we can do is wait. I don't get into that side, you know what I mean?
Tank's boxing career. To start, the fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul was supposed to be one of the biggest boxing events of the year. Both fighters had been hyping it up for months. Jake Paul, known for stirring controversy, was ready to step into the ring with one of the most feared knockout artists in the sport. And Tank? He was coming off an incredible win streak and was ready to remind the world why he's considered one of the most dangerous lightweights of this generation. Everything seemed set. Press tours were being planned, promotional material was already rolling out, and fans were buzzing about how big this fight could be for boxing. But out of nowhere, the shocking announcement dropped. The fight was canceled. No explanation, no warning, just gone. Almost immediately after that, rumors started flying. Some sources claimed Gervonta had tested positive for performance-enhancing substances. Others said there were behind-the-scenes contract disputes, and some even believed that Tank simply wasn't mentally ready for a fight of this magnitude. But things took an even more dramatic turn when reports surfaced that Calvin Ford, Gervonta's father figure and head trainer, decided to end his partnership with the young star shortly after the cancellation. For those who don't know, Calvin Ford isn't just a coach. He's the man who discovered Gervonta Davis. He saw potential in him when he was just a troubled kid from Baltimore, fighting his way out of a rough neighborhood. Ford molded him into a champion, guiding him through every stage of his career. To see their bond fall apart now feels almost impossible. According to insiders close to the situation, tension between Tank and Ford had been building for months. Sources claim that Gervonta started becoming more independent after his last big fight, making decisions without consulting Ford, skipping training sessions, and surrounding himself with a new circle of advisors who didn't always see eye to eye with the veteran coach. Calvin, who has always been known for his discipline and tough love, reportedly tried to get Tank to refocus, but it didn't work. There were multiple disagreements over fight negotiations, especially when the Jake Paul bout came into the picture. Ford wasn't too excited about that matchup, believing Jake Paul wasn't a serious opponent and that Tank should be focused on legacy fights, not YouTube spectacles. Meanwhile, Gervonta saw the fight as a massive payday and a chance to cement his star power beyond boxing. That's when the cracks in their relationship started to show. One insider even revealed Calvin wanted Tank to stay grounded and focus on legacy. But Tank was chasing the business side of boxing. He felt like he didn't need anyone's permission anymore. And when the fight got canceled, that might have been the final straw. Ford reportedly felt that the situation was being mishandled and that it damaged both their reputations. Not long after, he decided to end their working relationship entirely. This is a heartbreaking turn of events for fans who followed Tank's journey from the beginning. Calvin Ford has always been a father figure to Gervonta, guiding him from the Baltimore gyms to championship belts. Their connection was something special, a true story of mentorship and redemption. Seeing that bond break apart is like watching a family fall apart in front of millions of fans. After the split, both camps have stayed mostly quiet publicly. But Gervonta did post a few cryptic messages on social media, writing things like, "People change when you stop being who they want you to be," and "I'm focused on me now." Fans immediately assumed these were directed at Ford. Meanwhile, Calvin Ford hasn't said much directly, but during a recent interview snippet circulating online, he hinted that he's done trying to save people who don't want to be saved. That line alone sent the boxing internet into a frenzy. This isn't the first time Tank has faced controversy, but losing Calvin could be the biggest challenge of his career yet. Because when you lose your foundation, the man who knows your weaknesses, your training rhythm, your emotional patterns, it's hard to rebuild. Let's be honest, Tank's career has been defined by both incredible highs and troubling lows. He's undefeated in the ring, yes, but he's also faced multiple legal issues and controversies outside it. Through it all, Calvin was always there, defending him, supporting him, and keeping him focused. Now that safety net is gone. The timing of this split couldn't be worse. The boxing world is more competitive than ever, and fighters like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia are all waiting for their shot at Tank. Without Calvin Ford by his side, Tank will need to prove that he can stay disciplined and focused on his own. Fans are split right now. Some believe this breakup was inevitable, that Gervonta had outgrown his mentor and was ready to take control of his career. Others think this is a huge mistake, and that Tank's arrogance might be leading him down a dangerous path. One fan on X, formerly Twitter, wrote, "Calvin Ford made Gervonta Davis who he is. Without him, Tank might lose the hunger that made him a champion." Another added, "Jake Paul didn't end Tank's career. Ego did." Meanwhile, Jake Paul wasted no time jumping into the drama. On his podcast, he sarcastically commented, "I told everyone Tank wasn't ready. He canceled the fight because he knew what was coming." Of course, Jake is known for stirring the pot, but his words definitely added fuel to the fire. There's even speculation that Ford might start working with other fighters, maybe even one of Tank's rivals. That would be the ultimate twist. Calvin's reputation as one of the best trainers in the sport makes him a hot target for other fighters looking to make their mark. But deep down, most fans hope this isn't the end. Maybe it's just a temporary break. Maybe, once emotions settle, the two will find a way to rebuild their relationship. After all, Ford and Tank's bond runs deeper than boxing. Calvin once said in an interview, "I don't just train Tank, I raised him. I love him like my own." So for that connection to just end so abruptly, it's painful for both of them. Industry insiders are already wondering what this means for Tank's next move. Without Calvin, who's going to train him? Will he switch camps entirely? Will he align with someone like Derek James, or maybe join forces with a big-name promoter to reset his image? Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure. The road ahead won't be easy. The pressure is now all on Tank to prove that he can stand on his own, that his success wasn't just because of Calvin Ford's guidance, but because of his own dedication and talent. But there's also another side to this story, the mental and emotional toll. Losing a mentor, especially one who's been with you since day one, can take a huge psychological hit. Training camps are about more than just physical workouts. They're about trust, motivation, and family. Without that familiar voice in his corner, Tank might struggle to find the same fire that made him unstoppable. And this comes at a time when the boxing world is evolving rapidly. New stars are emerging, promoters are demanding more drama, and crossover fights are blurring the lines between entertainment and pure sport. Tank's image is now caught between those two worlds. Was he chasing fame more than legacy? Did the business side of boxing finally overpower the fighter's spirit? These are questions fans are asking. For Calvin Ford, though, the decision to walk away couldn't have been easy. This is a man who stood by Gervonta through thick and thin, through arrests, controversies, and career highs. But at some point, even the most loyal mentors have to protect their own peace. Maybe Ford felt like he had done all he could. Maybe he wanted Tank to learn some lessons the hard way. Or maybe, deep down, he hopes this separation will wake Gervonta up, force him to look in the mirror and realize what he's losing. As of now, there's no official word on whether the two will ever reunite. But boxing history shows that splits like this can go either way. Sometimes, fighters come back stronger. Other times, they lose their edge completely. So where does that leave Tank Davis? Right now, he's standing at a crossroads. One path could lead to redemption, renewed focus, and an even greater legacy. The other could lead to decline, distractions, and wasted potential. Only time will tell which version of Gervonta Davis we'll see next. The disciplined champion who rose from nothing under Calvin Ford's wing, or the lost fighter chasing fame without the foundation that made him great. But But one thing's undeniable. This breakup marks the end of an era. The Gervonta Davis-Calvin Ford story was one of boxing's most inspiring partnerships. And seeing it fall apart right when Tank needed guidance the most is both shocking and tragic. Fans can only hope that one day, both men find a way to rebuild the trust and respect they once shared. Because in the end, no matter how far Gervonta goes, the truth is simple. Without Calvin Ford, there would be no Tank.